To have a 9-foot healthy female shark eaten alive straight up set this scene of, it's a murder mystery.
Imagine standing at the edge of the sea, waves hitting your feet, knowing that one of the most dangerous hunters in the ocean is nearby. But then it disappears, not just for a little while, but completely. Marine scientists were confused when a great white shark, a creature with sharp teeth and amazing speed, vanished from the area it usually hunts in. What could make such a strong predator just vanish? Was it sickness, people, or something even scarier hiding under the water? Join us in this video as we reveal the details. The mysterious case of the great white shark finally solved. Along the quiet and wide coast of Western Australia, a group of marine scientists spent long hours out on the open water. They had only one main goal during this mission. They wanted to watch and understand how great white sharks move, hunt, and behave in their natural world. The team placed special tracking tags on several sharks so they could collect simple but important information like water temperature, swimming depth, and daily movement. One of the sharks they tagged was a strong and healthy 9-foot female. She was large, calm, and looked like a perfect example of an adult great white in her prime. The team placed the tracking tag on her without trouble, and she swam away smoothly. For months, everything about her movement looked normal. She stayed along the coastline, moved through the cold water, and hunted the way great whites usually do. Nothing seemed strange or out of place. But after 4 months, something happened that the team never saw coming. The special tag that was supposed to stay on the shark for much longer suddenly washed up on a nearby beach. At first, this did not look like a major problem. Tags sometimes fall off early. Tags sometimes stop working. It happens in research, and the team was used to simple errors like this. But when the tag was collected and the information inside was downloaded, everything changed. What they saw was so unexpected, so strange, and so shocking that it stopped everyone in their tracks. The tag showed a very sudden jump in temperature. One moment, the tag was sitting in cold water around 46 degrees Fahrenheit. And then, in an instant, the temperature shot up to 78 degrees Fahrenheit. This jump did not happen slowly or gradually. It happened all at once. The only place where the temperature could rise that fast and reach that exact warm level was inside the body of a large predator. That meant the shark had been swallowed. Then, another strange clue showed up. Right after the temperature spike, the tag recorded a fast, powerful drop straight down into deep water, about 1,900 feet. The tag did not drift. It was dragged downward by something incredibly strong. After reaching this deep place, the tag stayed inside the predator for many days, moving slowly and staying warm until it was finally released and drifted back up to the surface. The team now understood something truly serious. A 9-foot great white shark, the kind most people think of as the king of the sea, had been attacked, swallowed, and pulled into the deep by something even larger and even more powerful. This was not an accident. This was not a mistake. This was a real predation event. Scientists began asking the same question again and again. What could possibly eat a 9-foot great white shark? Some people suggested sea monsters, old legends, and giant creatures no one had ever seen. But the scientists needed real answers, not stories. So they started looking at everything they knew about the ocean and its biggest hunters. The first idea they studied was that another great white shark had attacked and eaten the smaller female. Even though it sounds shocking, shark-on-shark attacks are common in nature. Large sharks often see smaller sharks as easy meals. Great whites have been seen biting each other, fighting for territory, and even tearing weaker sharks apart when food is scarce. The warm temperature inside the predator matched a great white's internal heat, because great whites keep certain parts of their bodies warm while digesting food. The deep dive also matched the behavior of a very large shark that prefers quiet, deep water while breaking down a heavy meal. The slow movements recorded after the attack also looked like the swimming patterns of a dominant great white that had just eaten something extremely large. Everything pointed toward one main answer. The predator was another great white shark, but one that was much, much bigger. Scientists estimated that the shark responsible for this attack may have been at least 16 feet long, possibly even closer to 20 feet, and weighed several thousand pounds. In simple words, this predator was a giant. All the signs seemed to fit. The warm stomach temperature, the deep dive, the long digestion time, and the fact that great whites are capable of eating other sharks all supported the same conclusion. After slowly studying every piece of data, the scientists understood that the creature that swallowed the 9-foot shark was not a hidden monster from the deep, not a legendary beast, and not an unknown species. It was a very large great white shark, far bigger and stronger than the one they had tagged. The ocean did not reveal a new monster that day. It simply reminded everyone that even an apex predator can become prey when something even more powerful is near. Even with all the signs pointing to a bigger great white, why did some experts still hesitate? Was there something hidden in the clues that made them look at other predators too? Let's delve deeper. The theory of an orca, or another deep-sea creature. Even though there were strong signs pointing toward another great white shark, many people still wondered whether an orca or some deep-sea creature could have been responsible. Because of this, scientists took extra time to look at every other option, even the unlikely ones. They considered orcas first because orcas have been seen hunting sharks in certain places around the world. In some regions, orcas work together in pairs or groups, using smart and careful methods to attack sharks. They know how to flip sharks on their backs, which causes the sharks to freeze for a short time. During that moment, the orcas tear out the shark's liver, which is the part they want most because it is full of rich fat and energy. However, this careful method did not match what happened to the 9-foot shark. Orcas do not swallow large sharks whole. They do not drag them almost 2,000 feet deep right after attacking them. Orcas also have warm bodies, just like humans, and their stomach temperature would be much hotter than 78 degrees Fahrenheit. If an orca had been the predator, the tag would have shown a temperature much closer to human body heat. Because of these big differences, orcas did not fit the facts.
One of the things I find fascinating is how the seven gills will actually turn and defend themselves against the orca.
Scientists also imagined if some deep-sea creature, like a giant squid, could have caught the shark near the edge of an underwater canyon. But giant squid are cold-blooded. Their bodies could never create the warm temperature recorded inside the predator. This alone ruled out the idea of a squid or any similar deep-sea animal. After checking these other possibilities one by one, everything continued to point back to the same place: a bigger, great white shark. No other predator matched all the signs: the warm stomach, the deep dive, the long digestion time, and the ability to overpower a 9-foot shark so fast. The ocean is full of mysteries, but in this case, the answer was not hidden in legends or deep-sea shadows. The predator was simply a huge, powerful, dominant great white shark, one that reminded everyone that even in the ocean's highest ranks, size and strength still rule. What more could be hiding around regarding the case of the missing white shark? Keep watching to find out. The hidden clues behind Shark Alpha's mysterious disappearance. When people began searching for answers about what happened to Shark Alpha, the scientists looking into the case also had to consider whether humans could have played a part in her disappearance. This idea came up because humans have a long record of harming great white sharks in different places around the world. Some of these events were proven to be true, and others were only talked about in stories. But they were concerning enough that the researchers felt they had to take this possibility seriously. One confirmed case happened in South Australia in the early 2000s when a great white shark washed up on a beach. Its jaw had been cut off, its stomach had been opened, and rope marks around its tail suggested that people had tied it up and handled it roughly before removing body parts. Another confirmed case happened in 2011 in South Africa, where a fisherman caught and attacked a protected great white shark from the shore, even though the species was legally protected. He was charged later, but the damage had already been done. There were also stories passed around quietly among some researchers and local fishers, claiming that another shark had once been tied to a boat and had its liver removed before being thrown back. This story was never proven, and no physical evidence was ever shown, but it still added to the worry about how humans sometimes treat these animals. Because of these events and rumors, people began to wonder if Shark Alpha might have met a similar fate. Some thought she could have been caught accidentally or even attacked on purpose. But when scientists looked closely at the information from her electronic tag, the facts did not match anything humans could have done. The tag showed a sudden jump in temperature and a deep, steady dive, almost 2,000 feet down. This pattern could only come from a living creature swallowing the tag and then moving through the water. A human action, like catching, cutting, or hooking, would not produce a rise in heat from inside a body or a controlled dive. This made it clear that people were not responsible for what happened to Shark Alpha, even though humans have caused great harm to sharks in other cases. As the investigation continued, the case began to highlight something deeper: the blind spots that sometimes limit what scientists can see or understand. Many times in the past, people studying the ocean missed important discoveries simply because they were looking in the wrong place or using methods that were too narrow. For example, giant squids were once believed to be only myths for many years because no one had seen a living one near the surface. But once cameras were placed deep in the water, where these animals actually live, researchers finally recorded them alive. In the same way, orca attacks on great white sharks were overlooked until scientists started studying both species together instead of separately. Once they changed their approach, they began seeing evidence of orcas attacking sharks in very attacked and surprising ways. Shark Alpha's disappearance showed that this problem still existed. Researchers were trying to fit what happened to her into ideas they already understood. Instead of letting the strange data speak for itself, they kept comparing it to normal cases. But the sudden heat spike, the deep dive, and the long movement afterward did not match any familiar pattern. This meant the scientists had to rethink their methods. They realized they needed more long-term data instead of short bursts from tags.
OSearch has really helped us by coming in and providing some great technology, like these satellite tags.
They needed to treat these tag details the same way detectives treat clues at a crime scene, and they had to stop ruling out possibilities too quickly. Shark Alpha's case made it clear that science sometimes struggles, not because the ocean is too mysterious, but because people sometimes ask the wrong questions. The group responsible for studying Shark Alpha was a team from Australia's National Research Agency, the CSIRO. They had tagged her in 2003 as part of a larger project meant to study how sharks move and survive. When the tag was found and the strange data appeared, the team realized they were facing something rare. They gathered marine experts, tagging specialists, and ocean scientists to go through every moment of the tag's recorded information. Their work drew attention from the public, and many people questioned their findings. Some thought the truth would never be discovered. Others preferred wild theories instead of scientific ones. But the team stayed focused on evidence, bringing in experts who normally work on ecological crime scenes to study the tag's details carefully. At the same time, public speculation grew louder. Many people ignored the scientific explanations and instead embraced dramatic stories, even when the evidence did not support them. This showed how quickly people can turn a mystery into something bigger than it really is, especially when fear and imagination take over. Despite all the noise, the scientists continued following the data, knowing it was the only path to the real answer. If scientists have learned from Alpha's disappearance and put new safety measures and tracking protocols in place, how effective are these steps at preventing such a shocking loss in the future? Let's delve deeper. The Hidden Hunter, Shark Alpha's mysterious predator. After the disappearance of Shark Alpha, scientists returned to the waters off Western Australia to try to find answers.
Our story begins in late 2003 off the rugged coastline of Western Australia.
They used advanced tools like high-resolution sonar and underwater cameras, hoping to see the predator that had taken her. The ocean is huge, deep, and dark, and finding something there is never easy. Despite scanning thousands of square miles, nothing concrete appeared. Every sonar signal that looked promising soon vanished, leaving no trace. The predator had left no direct evidence behind. It was as if it moved through the water like a shadow, unseen and untouchable. This made it clear that the ocean still kept some of its deepest secrets well hidden. Researchers also looked carefully at other tracking data from tagged sharks in the area. In several cases, tags recorded strange events similar to what had happened with Alpha. Some tags showed sudden temperature spikes. Others recorded very fast dives into the deep, then unusual movements afterward. These signs suggested that other sharks might have been attacked by the same predator, but no full proof was ever found. The events were rare, scattered, and subtle, hiding in the vast ocean. Scientists found that many of these attacks could have happened in the past without anyone knowing. They were only found now due to the use of today's tracking tools. Scientists had to reconsider how they study sharks as a result of Shark Alpha. They realized that tracking sharks for brief periods of time, or even watching them at the surface, were not enough to capture uncommon events like this. They started watching the sharks differently, paying greater attention to odd motions, high temperature readings, and quick changes in the data. They were able to get more correct data about rare or deadly predators that could otherwise go unknown thanks to this new way. The idea was to ensure that, in the event that another shark vanished like Alpha, they could watch and thoroughly check what happened. The case of Shark Alpha also changed public view of the ocean and its animals. Even great white sharks, at the top of the food chain, are not safe, as shown by her disappearance. It showed that there are many hazards in the ocean that we are blind to. Everyone was reminded by the case that there is still much to learn about the water. Humans cannot fully understand some of the animals and behaviors seen in deep water. Scientists realized that the interactions between different predators and even between sharks themselves can be very complicated and sometimes deadly. The undersea predator that most likely attacked Alpha has not been found for years. Nobody has personally seen it. Only the rare patterns noted on Alpha's tracking tag and other such situations provide insight into its existence. Researchers are still working to check whether this is a single big shark, or if there are more of them, even without direct sightings. The threat of such a predator is now taken seriously, and it has become part of the ongoing study of great whites and other ocean hunters. The case of Shark Alpha has also changed the way research is done worldwide. Scientists now include unusual predation events in their studies. Tagging programs track anomalies and study odd movements that could indicate attacks. Citizen scientists also help by reporting unusual sightings, sharing sonar readings, and keeping watch over coastal waters. Many people are now more aware of the deep ocean and its animals as a result of the story. Curiosity, worry, and fear for the secrets that remain beneath the waves have all been raised by it. Finally, Shark Alpha's story serves as a stark reminder that despite all of our knowledge and technology, humans are still unable to fully understand or control the ocean. Predators are still out there, strong and invisible, and they have the capacity to change our understanding of marine life. The submarine predator shows that even apex hunters like great whites have something bigger, stronger, and more dangerous to fear. Shark Alpha's disappearance continues to teach scientists about the deep sea, about the hidden rules of nature, and about the creatures that remain mysteries, waiting silently in the depths. Knowing how terrifying great white sharks are in our imaginations, what is it about their bodies, strength, and survival skills that makes them such perfectly designed predators of the ocean? Let's find out. The great white shark: anatomy, strength, and survival. The great white shark, also known by scientists as Carcharodon carcharias, is one of the most famous and feared predators in the ocean. Many people fear it because it is big, strong, and very dangerous. The idea of a huge shark swimming silently underwater, looking for food, can make even the bravest person feel nervous. Deaths from great white shark attacks are rare, but they are real. They have been recorded and studied over the years. Great white sharks are enormous. They can grow as long as 20 feet, which is about 6 meters. They can weigh up to 5,000 pounds, or 2,270 kilograms. That is heavier than most cars. Their bodies are shaped like a torpedo, which helps them swim fast through the water. They have large fins on their backs and sides called dorsal and pectoral fins, and a strong tail shaped like a crescent. Their top is dark gray, and their bottom is white.
They have a dark gray coloration on their back and sides, and only their belly is white.
The white belly is how they got their name long ago when whalers saw them feeding on whales. The teeth of great white sharks are very special. Each shark has about 50 teeth in use at one time, but behind these teeth are 6 more rows waiting to replace old teeth. Sharks lose teeth often while hunting, so they always have replacements ready. Over a lifetime, a single great white may use around 30,000 teeth. These teeth are sharp and strong. They are made of a mineral called fluorapatite, which is similar to human tooth enamel, but even stronger. These teeth are made to cut through flesh and even break bones. In 2008, scientists studied how strong the bite of a great white shark could be. They used computer models of shark jaws and estimated that the largest great whites could bite with a force over 18,000 newtons. That is incredibly strong. It is stronger than almost all other animals alive today, except for the orca. Even crocodiles, which are very strong, were measured at a slightly lower bite force. One might think that such a strong bite would require a skeleton made of hard bone, but great white sharks are different. Their skeleton is made of cartilage, which is softer and more flexible than bone. This makes them lighter and helps them swim faster. It may also be why they cannot bite even harder, but it is a trade-off, because being lighter helps them move quickly and use less energy in the water. The muscles of great white sharks are also unique. They have 2 types of muscle, white muscle and red muscle. White muscle is for short bursts of speed and power, while red muscle is for slower, steady swimming. Surprisingly, more than 90% of a great white's muscles are white, which means they are designed for fast attacks and ambushes. But they still migrate long distances, sometimes thousands of miles, because their red muscles are placed deep inside the body near the dorsal fin. This unusual placement helps them swim efficiently without wasting energy. Great white sharks are not like most fish that rely on cold-blooded metabolism. They have a system called regional endothermy, which means they can keep certain parts of their body, like muscles and stomach, warmer than the water around them. Their stomachs, for example, stay at about 26 degrees Celsius, even if the water is much colder. This allows them to swim faster, dive deeper, and hunt more effectively. But this also means they need a lot of food to survive and grow. If great white sharks are such perfectly built predators with incredible speed, strength, and senses, then why do they struggle so profoundly in captivity? And what does that reveal about their true nature? Stay tuned for more. Hunting behavior, senses, and challenges in captivity. Great white sharks are not mindless attackers. They are very picky about what they eat. These sharks hunt primarily throughout the day, not at dawn or dusk, as many people believe, according to observations from the Farallon Islands near San Francisco.
And spectacular geographic location, the Farallon Islands in Northern California.
They hunt mostly by sight, using their keen vision to locate prey. Because of a sharp layer in their eyes called the tapetum lucidum, scientists have found that they have color vision and can see details in the water even in low light. Although they sometimes bite humans, great white sharks normally do not see humans as food. Due to their high fat content, seals and sea lions are among their favorite prey. Because their metabolism and motion need a lot of energy, Sharks need fatty food. They always release it fast after biting a human or other non-fatty prey. Sharks have been seen by researchers to bite, drag their prey underwater, and then release it. Humans survive many of these attacks because the shark is not actually trying to eat them. It is testing whether the target has enough fat to be worth the energy. Great whites use a careful and somewhat ritualistic plan to hunting. Sharks always bite, release, and let their prey bleed slowly when they attack seals or sea lions. They take this action to protect themselves from harm. The shark finally eats injured prey after it dies from blood loss. Sharks do not engage in physical fight over food when there are a lot of them present. Instead, they show their dominance by actions like splashing and tail slapping. The shark who slaps its tail the hardest gets to dine first. This behavior shows that great white sharks are capable of peaceful communication. Great white sharks also rely on highly developed senses, such as the ampullae of Lorenzini in their snout, which detects electrical signals from nearby prey at a close range of nearly 1 meter, allowing the shark to target prey precisely. They also have an amazing sense of smell, which helps them locate prey like rotting whale carcasses or stinky seals from a distance. However, claims that they can smell a single drop of blood from miles away have not been scientifically proven. Attempts to keep great whites in captivity have consistently failed. The first known attempt was at Marine Land of the Pacific in 1955, and the shark died in less than 24 hours. Later attempts at other aquariums, including SeaWorld San Diego and the Steinhardt Aquarium, were also unsuccessful. Stress, the failure to swim always for oxygen, or contact with the tank walls are common causes of shark death. They cannot be kept in captivity since they are used to hunting live prey and traveling great distances in the wild. To sum up, great white sharks are much more than just attackers. With their unique structure, strong bite, amazing swimming skills, and high sensory perception, they are very intelligent, picky predators. They are delicate in certain ways, careful to avoid injury, and capable of complex behavior. Despite their fearsome reputation, they are not indiscriminate predators of humans. Their biology, hunting methods, and behavior reveal a sophisticated animal perfectly adapted to life at the top of the marine food chain. How did centuries of human-shark encounters shape what we know about shark behavior today? Let's take a closer look. Humans and sharks through history. Sharks have lived in the oceans for a very, very long time, about 450 million years. This means that long before humans sailed the seas, sharks were already in the water, swimming and hunting. When humans finally started using boats, maybe around 12,000 years ago, encounters with sharks would have been natural and probably frequent. Fear and fascination with sharks are not new. Even before movies like Jaws in 1975, humans were both scared of and curious about sharks. The ancient Greeks were some of the first to show sharks in their stories and art. They often exaggerated the animals, showing them as monsters or even gods. For example, the hero Heracles is shown fighting a sea monster with sharp teeth, fins, and a long body, much like a shark. The Greek god Lamia, who attacked children, has a name linked to the word for mackerel sharks, like great whites. One of the earliest real depictions of a shark attack comes from a Greek vase around 725 BC. The vase shows a capsized boat, people in the water, and a large fish attacking a man. Historians think this fish was probably a great white shark, making it the first known visual record of a shark attack. Later, around 492 BC, historian Herodotus wrote that during a Persian invasion, 20,000 sailors ended up in the water and were immediately attacked by sea monsters, likely sharks. Around the same time, philosopher Aristotle observed shark behavior. He noted that sharks moved to shallow waters to give birth, using warmth and safety to protect their young. During the Roman era, Pliny the Elder wrote about dogfish in the Mediterranean, describing sponge divers who had to fight off these sharks. Roman mosaics also show sharks with accurate shapes, fins, and teeth. After the Roman Empire fell in 476 AD, knowledge about sharks declined for about 900 years. This period, known as the Dark Ages, was marked by superstition and myths rather than observation. By the 15th and 16th centuries, sharks reappeared in art and stories. Aztec manuscripts show sharks attacking humans, and European explorers drew sharks and sea monsters on maps. By the 1500s, sharks were being described in more detail. Bartolomé de las Casas wrote about man-eating sharks in Cuba, and British sailors also recorded attacks at sea. In England, Brooke Watson, who lost his leg to a shark in Cuba, had a famous painting of his attack displayed in London in 1775, spreading fear and awareness of sharks. These historical records show that sharks were once far more common than today. The oceans were full of predators, and humans had frequent encounters with them. Over time, shark populations have declined, and what people consider a normal number of sharks has changed, showing just how much the ocean has changed since ancient times. What do you think about the existence of a 9-foot white shark? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the next video shown on your screen to catch up on your favorite celebrity stories. See you there.